Hi, my name is Ryan Huff.
And I'm Leeway Pasek.
And we're here to show you our 2018 overlanding build of a Sprinter. We originally bought this to be able to do our around the world trip. It's been a little bit of a hiatus due to the pandemic. We actually shipped it to Iceland. We then took ferries to the Faroe Islands, over to Denmark, did a little bit of Western Europe. We also did about a month worth of skiing in Switzerland in the cold. Then we ferried down to Morocco and then got stuck for 5 months due to the lockdown of the pandemic. And we just got back to the US a couple weeks ago. So we originally bought this with the idea of replacing our 1997 80 series Land Cruiser. We actually shipped that to Australia for 3 months and traveled around, and while it did a really good job on the more technical portions, we really wanted a lot more comfort, and that's what led to this build for the Sprinter.
I really wanted something with indoor cooking and to be able to escape the rain and wind and snow and whatever bad elements are out there. With the trailer, everything was outside, so we were pretty open to the elements, and sometimes went to bed without eating because we didn't really want to cook in the downpour. But in this vehicle, we can do all of that in there, and it's fantastic.
So let's do a walk around in the Sprinter and we'll show you some of the things we designed and some of the features. So we'll start off by talking about the suspension here. You can see on the Van Compass 2-inch lift here that they designed. They actually keep the Mercedes factory geometries by doing a little bit of offset on these blocks. They also provide the Fox shocks here, which give it much more damping given our larger weight on an overlanding build. And the suspension lift is what allows us to run the big 34-inch tires. So effectively, the lift on this from Van Compass allows us to do about 6 inches taller than what a factory Mercedes Sprinter is. That allows us to have pretty much as much ground clearance as our Land Cruiser has. It's amazing how good they did with that suspension. That coupled with the front, you can see there's a lot of armor that Van Compass also does, and that allows us to, even when we do touch rocks, gracefully kind of drag ourselves over it, just like we did with the solid axle Land Cruiser we had. So we decided to go with BF Goodrich all-terrain KO2s. We went with the taller and skinnier tires because it decreases the rolling resistance. When you air them down, it really flattens out that tread and looks more like a tank tread as opposed to a bulging balloon. We find we get a lot more traction with the tall, skinny tires. Okay, here on the driver's side, I want to show the rock sliders that Van Compass also did. These are full integrated into the chassis, so they can take a lot of weight. You can actually, with the high lift jack, be able to jack off the front and rear. These aren't just a step as a lot of people think they are. Under here, which may be hard to see, is the Agile Off-Road 20-gallon aux tank. So in total, we carry 45 gallons of diesel. With a 5-gallon jerry can, we can easily go 1,000 miles with this. It's pretty insane amount of range. So here we have, again, the Van Compass rear step, and we didn't think we would use that much in the beginning, but we actually use it quite a bit to access the back and the garage and basically the whole back end of the Sprinter. We also have an integrated air system so we can air back up the tires. We have one on each side here, so Leeway and I can both be doing airing up because it's a little bit tedious. So for the integrated air system, we have the Extreme Outback Magnum air compressor, and that makes pretty quick work of pumping up the tires. So on the roof of the Sprinter here, you can see there's the modified Front Runner Slimline 2 roof rack. We try to keep it very low weight, very low profile. It's basically here just to support these very lightweight panels. They're only like 3/8 of an inch thick. Each one is about 110 watts, and they are only about 10 pounds a piece. So we have 3 of those. And then in the front, there's the Max Air fan. It pops up in the front there. Now to talk about the inside, I'll hand you off to Leeway and she'll show you more of the inside.
Welcome guys, let me show you around. Before we go inside, you can see under there's a great spot to put shoes. Before you get in, you can put your dirty shoes here. You don't have to bring them into your house. Also, there's a couple fun things if you want to come on closer. We have the S-Bar D2 heater, which is a diesel heater. It's an Airtronic. It kept us nice and toasty in Iceland and anywhere where it snows and is cold. It's a game changer for me. It's fantastic. So you can see here, Goose Gear did our floor. We have L-track in the floor, as well as the walls and the ceilings in the van. And all this furniture here is made by Goose Gear and can be moved around using the attachments in the L-track. So we're at Blue Ridge Overland Gear doing this walk around. They make fantastic products. This here you can see on the seat back we use for quick grab items. So we put our headlamps, flashlights, and toilet paper for when we need to get out in a hurry for any reason. While we're outside, I'm going to show you these. These are actually from IKEA. We added these in Europe after Iceland, experiencing a lot of cold, wet weather. We were constantly using the heater to dry things out. So we installed these guys to either hang shoes or towels or something so that the heater here could dry everything. This is the galley that Goose Gear made for us. This is a Dometic sink. All it does is you open the top and bring this up, and we have a foot pump, so it's not electric, so less parts to break, hopefully. We've learned over the years that water conservation is key. Sometimes you're in places where you can't resupply on water. So we like this because we can really meter out how much water we use. We use a simple water system. We use 5-gallon fresh water, which is a Scepter can, and we use a slightly larger gray water container. This is the whale foot pump that we use, so it's quite small. We've found over the years that having a smaller container and something that's not fixed to the vehicle is easier for us when filling water or disposing of the gray water. We have under here 4 more of the Scepter cans for fresh water. We typically carry about 30 gallons of fresh water when we travel. So continuing on in the galley, we have our 140-liter fridge. It's a Dometic fridge. In the Sahara, the latch mechanism did break, and we kind of used what we had to make it work. Dometic has actually been fantastic with us since we were in Morocco. They didn't really want to send us the door there, but we have one waiting for us, so we have a whole new door to put on. So you can freeze meat, you can make ice cubes. It's pretty fantastic. So as we come here, we have a single seat towards the driver's side, and then a bench seat, so you can comfortably fit 3 people here and 1 or 2 people in the front. So we use 100% electric for cooking on the induction, and then for water boiling, we have a water boiler that we use here as well. We chose to not use gas or propane just because in other parts of the country or outside the country, it can be difficult to get the fittings that you need. Also, we wanted to use diesel for heating and for the vehicle, and just electric for everything else, just to keep it simple. So in this cabinet below the bed, we have our wrap-on toilet. Ryan and I use it only for emergencies. Some people use this regularly. You plug it into the 12-volt system, and it seals in a bag every time you go to the bathroom, so no odors. So we had spoken earlier about leveling the vehicle so you can sleep at night and cook. We have this bed that's a manual leveling bed that Ryan and Goose Gear have a provisional patent on. I will show you how it works, but the nice thing is you can park on uneven ground late at night, not worrying about leveling the vehicle from outside, and level just the bed so that you can sleep well. So under the bed we have 2 actuators, one here and one here, and a single point in the back. So if you bring one up, it'll tilt side or side, but if you actuate both up or down, you can tilt it back or forward. So under our bed, we also have a pull-out table. It levels with the bed so that you're not spilling food if you're off camber. But it's great. It does pull out a little further, or you can, if it's just one person, you can do that. So I'll show you a picture of us in Spain on a super steep road, and we were able to sleep level in the bed. So the great thing about the Sprinter is you can enter the driver's seat very easily or the passenger seat. Here we have our Shielman seats, which are a game changer for long driving distances. You don't have any back pain. It's fantastic. So you may think that this is a road flare, but it's actually a fire extinguisher. It's an element fire extinguisher. We have two here and one behind the seat. They're quick release, so you can just pull them out and go. It's kind of like striking a match and then directing it at the fire. The nice thing is they don't expire. They're small and lightweight. So in the center here, since my husband's an electrical engineer and a bit of a geek, we have Blue Sea gauges. One does the vehicle's battery, one does the house battery, and then the third is temperature from outside. So as most people know, when you're parking on uneven ground, like out here, you want to be as level as possible for sleeping and cooking. We tend to add these to our vehicles to kind of have a nice visual of left and right being level and front and rear. Our front and rear is on the seat base. So on all our vehicles, we've added these rain shields. The nice thing about them is you can put the window down a couple inches, get some fresh air, and if it's raining, the water doesn't come inside. It's a little more security. When they're down, people outside can't really tell that the window is open, so we can at least have a little fresh air. So let me show you this on the door. Here we have a security panel. The stock one has a screen so no bugs come in, but someone could break through that screen and unlock the door, which we didn't want. The nice thing about leaving this open and having the fan on and the front windows cracked is it keeps air circulating and it doesn't get very hot.
Okay, so around the rear of the Sprinter here, under the bed, we have what we call the garage area. We can put max tracks and the high lift. We kind of don't like all that overlanding jewelry, as we call it, on the exterior. It just draws too much attention. Third world countries, people may want to take it. So we made this garage so it basically carried absolutely everything. And lastly, we have our cabinets on each side. This one's fully lockable. We'll put anything from rifles to recovery gear depending on where we're at. And this side is all of our electronics. We have 360 amp hours of lithium batteries. We have a 2000 watt inverter and all the solar panel controllers. Thank you for watching this. Hope you enjoyed the tour of the Sprinter. You can check us out more on overlandwithus.com. And on Instagram, we're at overlandwithus, and you can see some of the videos of this behaving like a Land Cruiser. Thanks for watching.
So one thing we've learned over the years and traveling around the world is that no matter where you are, people are people. Whether they're border agents or just people on the side of the road, we like to take our sunglasses off, wave, give a big smile, and they often reciprocate, and things settle down when people realize that humans are humans. You may not speak the same language, may not believe in the same things, but we're all human, and a nice big smile really breaks the ice.
Hand gestures, Google Translate, especially if you download it ahead of time if you're going to be offline. I mean, we've gotten through many, many conversations. We've lived with people for days with basically just Google Translate, hand gestures. So yeah, just smile, be people. You know, don't have the attitude that this isn't the way you should be doing things, you should be doing this way. It really goes a long, long way.